talking about UMass. But I mean, some good, some bad. Our players give good effort all the time, and that's what's been positive. Sometimes it's sloppy, and we've got to continue to improve upon that. Like I said to you guys, Florida in some ways was like an opening game because we played such two non-traditional offenses the first 2 weeks that I expected some improvement, and not sure. In our style of play, we got some improvement, but there's still like a lot of sloppy play. The things that are positive, I thought the play of Rashawn Golden continues to be, really high level football. Colton Jumper had 2.5 sacks or 3.5 tackles for loss or something like that, and to get 7 sacks in any game, that's really hard to do. We need to do a better job creating takeaways. We need to do a better job on 3rd and short. We did have, we've done a good job when we've gotten teams to 3rd and 7 or more, and that's been positive too. So it was a win. Candidly, I was really excited at the end of the game when we were on the field to finish the game. I thought, it's, when you fall off a horse, got to get right back on, or, things like that. Or so for us to be out in that situation again, and then have an opportunity to drive the field to tie or win the game, and for us to get a 4 and out, I thought was a confidence builder for our guys. And UMass, let's give them credit. I think they played really hard, and I reminded Coach today, we talked about it, the week before we played South Carolina last year, they went down to South Carolina, lost by 6. They lost to Mississippi State by 12, and were winning at the half last year. So these guys have been in big environments, and I give Coach Whipple and I give their players and their staff a lot of credit.
Bob, how much do you feel like your secondary has been tested vertically to this point?
Yeah, that's a little scary, coming into this game, because I think this team has really tall and fast wide receivers. They have 3 guys who average over 20 yards a catch. Ridley, Mims, and Godwin, and they're really good players. And Frome sure doesn't look like a freshman. I think he's a very talented player. Nada can get deep too. So, if you're out, we anticipate them trying to throw the ball deep on us. They have as much depth at running back as any team I've ever seen. They could throw Chubb, Sony Michel, Harrison Holyfield, and the freshman DeAndre Swift out there and barely skip a beat. And they've tried creative ways to get 2 and sometimes even 3 of those guys in the game at the same time. So you've got to be able to stop the run, and then I think Coach Chaney does a good job, when you put too many guys in the box trying to throw it over your head.
How do you slow down Isaac Nada?
Yeah, I know who he is. Well, it's hard because it's funny that you say that. I was watching a play on film today where he caught a ball down the seam, and I was sitting there going, wow, they have so many weapons. I mean, we have, if we're in some type of man concept, it'll probably be Micah or Nigel on him in some way. If we're in zone concepts, we're very aware of where he is. But a lot of his catches come. He caught a long pass the other day on a kind of a short yardage play where he faked like he was stock blocking and went deep, and caught another ball in a seam pass. Caught a long one on us in a seam pass last year. So being aware of where he is, and we haven't tailored our defense in an attempt to defend him, but he is a very, very good player. He's one of the top tight ends, no doubt.
Your linebackers right now, is Jumper and Barry, is that where you're most comfortable with at nickel in terms of passing situations? Just kind of talking about the explosive plays right now.
Yeah, Jumper and Barry. Jumper's played at a pretty good level. I mean, you guys, again, I keep coming back and saying every time we all start to doubt him, he makes plays. I mean, the guy makes plays, and what he really does, he's like a coach on the field too. He does a good job with regard to getting the group lined up and settling the team down. And we haven't, honestly, other than maybe Florida, we haven't really faced a traditional offense. UMass was so much unorthodox formation and things like that. He did a good job. Barry made some good plays the other day. I think he had a sack, and I think he had a nice pass on a screen pass. And like I said, Sapp's coming back from injury. So, I mean, between those 3 guys, I really feel very, very confident. And Batuli's gone back and forth between the Sam and the Mike, depending on what personnel grouping we're in. And he flashed again. I think probably his best game was the first game of the year. But it's not like he's played poorly since then.
Just in general, how do you feel about the way your pass rush has gone this kind of first year post Barnett?
Yeah, to that point, I mean, not just Barnett, but Vereen, is probably the next best pass rusher, maybe LaTroy. We've had to find creative ways to rush the passer. I mean, we had several pressures the other day, and we thought we had a pretty good beat on their protection, and we're pretty aggressive. Rashawn Golden's one of our more productive players, so we like to blitz with. He's a very good blitzer. Jumper really did a good job as a pass blitzer the other day, and Barry did too. But DT, Kongbo, and Phillips all have the knack for getting to the quarterback, and on 3rd down, we either have to be creative with what we call, or find a way to put our best pass rushers in the game for that situation.
What about Shaq Wiggins? Your thoughts on
Yeah, he
that?
did good the other day. Shaq had a pass breakup, and I know it's been a tough transition for Shaq. You know, you come in with high expectations and you get hurt in camp, and then you know, things really don't go your way for the first couple games. And you know, he sat down and talked with Charlton last week, and Charlton's done a really good job managing, you know, him and expectations, and he played, I think, over half the plays the other day, and had a nice pass breakup, had a nice tackle on a reverse, you know, and he's going to continue to play and be part of the rotation. Him, Emmanuel, and Justin.
You mentioned Machuli. How much has he progressed and kind of, like you said, being able to line up guys and everything?
Yeah, that's still just a part of his game that he's continuing to grow at. I mean, there's no question he's a playmaker, and you know, it's hard sometimes as the middle linebacker because you're responsible for setting the front and kind of calling the signals of the defense. I think when he didn't play that position in the not the bowl game, but the opening game of the year, he's able to kind of play without thinking. Sometimes, if he ever has a problem, it's that his brain probably ties up his feet a little bit sometimes. But he's certainly a very good player, a very diligent worker, and has an extremely bright future.
Given what you said about their backs and Isaac Nada and their receivers, where does their overall skill compared to what you've seen in your entire career?
Well, you know, obviously I've played against Georgia at a lot of different places. I feel weird, like I've played against them as much as any team that I've ever coached against. At Vanderbilt, at Penn State, heck, when I was a secondary coach at BC, we played in the Music City Bowl. I think it's the best Georgia team I've seen. You know, I think they're, which doesn't mean we can't win the game. It just means you know, we do on Tuesdays we do a who can help us, who can hurt us, meaning who can help us, who are their weaknesses, who can hurt us, you know, who are their players who are really good, and I was hard pressed to find a whole lot of who can hurt us. And I think Coach Pittman and I think Coach Cheney, you know, really have a good plan right now. They are you know, very balanced in the things that they're doing, and the quarterback's you know, other than the fact that he's just, you know, this will be his first SEC road game. That's you know, we got to get Nealon rocking on Saturday. We got to introduce him to what road SEC football is all about.
What are your initial thoughts on the front? What have you seen?